It is happening again. It is happening again.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tim, High Noons Vinyl, your friendly neighborhood vinyl guy. It is that time of year again. It's the most wonderful time of the year in the VC, isn't it? It's when everybody's coming back. You know, we're getting to see some friends we haven't seen in a little while. Everybody's checking in right now because of the vinyl tag. So, you know, I had to jump in and kind of share my 2 cents with everything. Would have liked to get this out even a little bit sooner, but life gets in the way, right? So, y'all know the question, y'all know the deal. 20 questions. If you haven't done it yet, I kind of urge you to. It's a great way to kind of get some content without really having to worry about coming up with some crazy ideas. Just search your collection. And if you have to skip a couple because you don't have anything, who cares? So thanks to Andrew from Tales of the Crate for coming up with these. If you've been on the fence about making content, this is a great way to jump in. A lot of us kind of started with the vinyl tag. It's a great way to get comfortable because you have 20 questions. You're going to show off some of your collection and just get to it. So I've got my 20. Let's rock. So question 1 was a 2020 vinyl discovery. And I discovered this thanks to Billy Hurst, actually. So you know Billy Hurst. Remember him? Country music extraordinaire now. The owner, proprietary, CFO, CEO, just BA of Riverbend Records. Well, he was actually here in just before COVID hit in 2020. He's a photographer, was in the area doing some stuff, and I was honored to be able to spend the day with him and Brad, and we kind of painted the town vinyl black. And he turned me on to this guy, Marcus King. So this is Marcus King's solo debut, El Dorado, produced by Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys. But, you know, Marcus King has a band as well. Think some good old straightforward blues rock. But this is also some baby making music at times. I mean, he channels some Al Green. He's got a little Van Morrison going on. I showed this way back in the beginning of the year when I picked it up, and let me tell you, I went down the rabbit hole with him. Picked up one. I think I got another one on order, or it's coming. I don't know. He's got like 3 with the Marcus King band, and then this one, and I've got 2 now. I think a 3rd's on the way. I can't remember. I bought too much. So Marcus King, definitely worth your time. Up and comer, and he's like, I think when he recorded this, he was like 23, 24. I mean, it's ridiculously young how young this kid is. So, worth your time. Number 2, a quarantine buy. Sorry, I have my Post-it notes because, you know, I'm blind and I'm not going to read notes and stuff like that. So, Gun. This was a reissue on marbled wax. Just saw this pop up online. It was a good price. Had to jump on it. I mean, it's just a killer hard rock record. You know, elements of the acid stuff going on, and it's Roger Dean's first cover. So, what's not to love? And that vinyl is just pretty. So, I think this is a 2019 reissue. And we'll go with that. But highly worth your time. I recommend that album a lot to people who are looking for something off the beaten path. Plus, like I said, Roger Dean is just a killer when it comes to an artist. An album you want to find in 2021. So, John, a friend of mine over at Digital Gramophone, and Paul, Baraka P-Dub. I mean, if you're going to drop names, there's 2 good ones, right? They both turned me on to this group, SAULT, S-A-U-L-T. And it's kind of like they're this, I guess, for lack of a better word, a UK collective of musicians and writers, and just, they really have a social consciousness about their music, and they really have a finger on the pulse of just kind of what's going on in the world. And they present it in such a fantastic way. I mean, it's funk, it's Afrobeat, it's a little bit of everything, but it's just incredible. I believe their most recent album, Untitled Black Is, just sold out another repress. And it's not like these represses or these pressings are like big runs. They're actually small runs, and they're getting incredibly hard to find. So I'm hoping, it would be nice to be able to find anything from them. And ironically enough, another song that I want, another record, it's a 45, is by a group, Salt, SALT, not Salt and Pepper. I'm gonna try to find it and leave a link below. They have a barn burner of a one-off that I originally heard because of a DJ Shadow mix, and the originals, they don't even know what to price them at because it's just that rare. I think Discogs said one sold like for $16 years ago, and it's never been sold since. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous, but the song is called Hung Up, and it got a reissue in the UK on 45, and the reissues are like $40-50. It's ridiculous. I would love to have it. It's one of my, I wouldn't say 2021 goals. It's one of my goals is to have that record, but we'll see. Number 4 is a box set. Any excuse to show this one off again, I'm going to take it because I'm very proud of it. This is the purple Jimi Hendrix Experience. This was kind of the box set that kind of kicked off all the reissues from the Hendrix Foundation family on the Experience Hendrix label. And so I got this on a steal of a price on eBay. It was a bid, and got into a little bit of a bidding war, but honestly, I got this, I think $40 shipped or under, to be perfectly honest. And these this is the velvet cover too, so they go for some pretty pennies. He was honest in the fact that the box had a little bit of wear, which you can kind of see. And he was also honest about the fact that the vinyl had some marks, and when I got them, there was a little bit of a smell, but I kind of channeled the inner Steve Value vinyl, and I did it up right. I mean, I brought them back to life and gave them a forever home. So there and there, I've spun it a couple times. They live in MoFis. I'm proud of that work that I put in. Just goes to show you, sometimes you can shop in the bargain bin, so to speak, and get a killer value if you want to put the elbow grease in. Number 5 was a concept album. This is Kid Cudi, the Man on the Moon. He's actually got 3 Man on the Moon albums, and they are all essentially tied to his inner self. So he speaks on them about his alter ego, Mr. Rager. And Mr. Rager is kind of like, the side that gets him to do the dumb stuff, the one that got him addicted to some really bad drugs and keeps him depressed and things like that. And I think it's an honest look from a young hip-hop artist about depression and mental health and just what everything that's going on in the world and everything that we are all susceptible to can do to somebody if they're not careful. He has been very public about his battles with addiction and drugs and things like that. He's been very public about his battles with mental health issues. He's gone through some loss in his life. So I applaud him for kind of taking that and turning it into some sort of creative outlet, to not just let it out, but to kind of let people know, hey, you're not alone. He even posted the other day on social media that, he just, with everything going on, he needed a good cry. And, you think about hip hop, it's very much machismo and, how many cars and hoes and stuff like that. So I applaud that. I really do. So I wanted to showcase that. 6, an album where the band changed direction. And then there were 3. Up until this point, Genesis was very prog. They kind of shifted gears and became the tale of 2 bands. You had the prog Genesis, you had the pop Genesis. I like them both. I'm sorry. Well, sorry, not sorry, I guess. But they still had prog elements for a couple of albums. I mean, you can argue by the time they get to Self-Titled or Invisible Touch, it's minimal at best. But, this is kind of where they changed. And again, I get some people don't take it or don't really care for it, and I like it. Doesn't bother me at all. Number 7 is a white label promo. And I could have swore I had some vinyl, like some LPs. If I do, they eluded my brain. You know, I do has the dumb, but I knew I had a 12-inch of DNice's Crumbs on the Table on the white label Jive label. DNice was a part of Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One's group. He was considered what they called the human TR-808, or human beatbox. So he would beatbox on early BDP records. But he also turned out to be a decent rapper as well. When BDP kind of separated and went their own ways, DNice put out a couple of albums. I think now he's actually an accomplished photographer. He's an accomplished DJ. So he's still out there doing stuff around music. He's just not rapping as much. Number 8 is a compilation album, and we're actually listening. Well, I am. I don't know if you can hear it. Hopefully, if you can hear it, I'm not going to get a copyright strike because, you know, screw the man. And that's Soul Slabs from Coal Mine Records. This is volume 2. I need to get volume 1. Coal Mine Records is really creating that old soul, I think that soul that, you know, would get sampled or got minimal runs because the bands were, you know, literally just in and out, in and out, in and out, and they would just cut 45s, and they got bought up by the local music fans to be now sold for millions of dollars on 45. That's reminiscent of what a lot of this Soul Slabs music is. They do a hell of a job with reissuing stuff on 45. They've got a wonderful stable of just amazing artists. They even have their own record store, Plaid Room Records, which Steve Carlson has talked about ad nauseum, and I would love to go there and spend a lot of money. So, Soul Slabs, a compilation or a box set, because, you know, I am multifaceted. Number 9, an album with a personal story. So I took that as an album that you have a story about, and that's the White Album. Well, I'm sure a lot of us have our own little stories with the White Album, but mine was, every year my mom would, you know, hey, make a list of some stuff you want, you know, and at the top of my list was always records. Go figure, right? And one year, you know, 14, 15, 13, I don't know, 13, 14, I don't remember. Maybe even later. It's really, I'm fuzzy. I'm really fuzzy on the years. Maybe 15, 16, I don't know. Anyway, I put on there, I wanted the Beatles' White Album. You know, I had a Hendrix record and some other stuff, but I had the Beatles' White Album. And she comes back with the list and says, good luck. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, I'm not getting you the White Album. I'm like, but, you know, I get it. It's expensive, but that's why I put it on my Christmas list. She's like, no, I refuse to buy you the White Album. Why? Because of Helter Skelter? Because of why aren't they doing it in a road? I mean, what the hell is your problem with the White Album? She had a problem with back in the USSR. Okay, Mom, whatever. So me being the young punk that I was, I refused to buy myself the White Album, and I made it my mission. Every birthday, every Christmas, every Easter, I'd ask for it. Well, I think it was that Christmas I didn't get it. And then she would always ask me, hey, we want something for Easter? And I was like, I want the White Album. You ain't getting that. So she gave me something else, you know, birthday, what do you want? Well, top of the list is White Album. It's not happening. I think it was the next year. You know, you're unwrapping gifts and stuff like that. And then she slides this thing across the floor. And she's like, here, take the damn thing. And I didn't even unwrap it yet. I just set it over to, you know, the daily haul, I guess you could call it. And my grandmother's like, aren't you going to open it? Like, no, I already know what it is. Based off of her attitude alone. It's shaped like a record. It's heavy, so it's got to be a 2-disc. I know what it is. And she's like, well, why don't you just open it up? I'm like, I don't have to. I know what it is. And she's like, just open it up. And I literally rip it so it's facing her. And I'm like, is it all white? Am I right? Is it all white? And it was. I'm by the way, I'm an asshole. A vinyl album, number 10, of an album that needs a vinyl pressing. I mean, there's a list. Tool, I mean, I think that's been mentioned already. A lot of the 90s stuff needs really good represses. Because either it got pressed and it's crappy and it's impossible to find, like Soul Coffin comes to mind, or there's just too much on one disc. Like I had an issue with, from what I heard some people picking up Pearl Jam say, it gets a little muddy at times. I mean, which I'll probably still pick it up just because. But if I had to say one, Public Enemy, can you stop these single disc reissues enough already? Let the albums breathe. You guys have cool logos. You could do 3 sides and then etch the DMC in the bullseye, which that's who that is. It's the B-boy in the bullseye. It's supposed to be DMC, or the Public Enemy logo. You can do a million things on that etching. Let the music breathe. It's just, you're getting 25, 26 minutes on the side. It doesn't sound so good. Rant over. Number 11, a common and an uncommon album. Big seller, right? Everybody's seen it. You go into every record store, you ask for Synchronicity, they say how many you want, which cover do you want? In fact, it's more rare if it's not the Qui-X purple, but it's just a standard black. What's it tell you? It's a common record. But an uncommon record. Dark. So this got reissued by Void Records. What was it, 2019, I think? I want to say it was 2019. So Dark was a acid rock, blues rock, prog band. And their initial album was so limited, they pressed 60, 70 copies. I think they made the original cover here by hand, and they just gave it out to their friends and family and girlfriends and whatnot. Good luck finding that, right? It has seen a couple of reissues. This is really good stuff, and I found the reissue was coming out, and I ended up pre-ordering it through somebody in 2019. I think it had to be 2019, and I'm so glad I did. It came with a second disc, which is them doing the album live much later in life, because that would be them then, that would be them now. But good stuff if you're into, blues rock and psych and all that fun stuff. What's this? Number 13, an EP, the Claypool Lennon Delirium. This one is an EP of covers on really cool splatter vinyl. I have built the vinyl versa thing for this one. So they cover Pink Floyd, King Crimson, The Who, and Flowers Traveling Band on this one. It's a really fun EP. Their take on the Court of the Crimson King is really good. They also do Astronomy Donomy, Boris the Spider, but for me, Satori is the standout. Well, it's a killer record. So I'm glad to have that. A girl group, number 14. I just chose a pretty much all female band. I mean, say what you want. They were a pop hit machine, but the Bengals were just great 80s fun music. I mean, Hero Takes a Fall, Hazy Shade of Winter. Yes, Manic Monday was written by Prince, but still just a fantastic song. So I really like the Bengals. Say what you will, I don't care. Was that 13? I think so. 14. I just got my numbers mixed up. An album cover you love. I have stared at this more times than I care to imagine in various mental states. 15, an album you've listened to the most. I took it as this year, and let's face it, 2020 sucked, and I needed a lot of grounding, and that called for a very spiritual album for me. I got this early on in 2020, finally on vinyl, and I never put it away. I just listened to it that much. And usually by the time this is over, I need a few minutes to just kind of let silence take its toll on me. As much as I think Kinda Blue is probably the most important, probably the most important jazz album because of, how it was recorded and how it was all set up. To me, it gets no better when it comes to jazz. Coltrane really just took it to a new level with this one. I love everything I hear from Coltrane. I know he can be a little hard at times in his later years, and I'm not a big fan of free jazz, but I still will listen to Coltrane because he's amazing. But that album for me, Pinnacle. 16, an album you had to have an OG of. That's because you can't find it any other way. It's never going to get repressed. Thankfully, Rob at Black Star Vinyl helped me out with this one. This is a prized possession for me. I love this album. This is easily top 50, maybe top 30. Could be pushing into my top 25 in and with it when and if I ever do that damn list. This is an incredible album, and it's never going to get repressed. Ever, 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 ever. So I'm glad to have that. Last album you purchased. Last album I purchased was this, Exodus, Pleasures of the Flesh. This is the FY exclusive gray vinyl. You know what, I'll show it since I'm already here. I'm going to do a little bit more of a deeper one on this one. I'm working on a vinyl or a metal update. So, found it at a good price at FYE and said I gotta have it. So I did, and I'm so glad I did. So, you metal fans, I'll show this one again. 18, an album they don't get. David Axelrod's Earthworm. I understand some people love David Axelrod because of DJ Shadow. I learned about David Axelrod. He used songs of experience kind of as a spiritual guide for introducing. He even samples it in introducing. So I got very much on the warpath to find some of the David Axelrod albums. Because of David Axelrod, I also learned about Cannibal Adderley because he produced for, he produced for Capitol Records as opposed to being an artist. So Now and Again Records reissued this, and I jumped all over it. This is, of the 3 Capitol releases for David Axelrod, this is probably the lowest. Well, not probably, it is. This is his his peace offering, his love letter to Mother Nature. It originally was recorded only with the vocal album, which gets a little weird at times, but I like it. But that reissue has an instrumental disc, which is, I hate to say it better, but number 19, punk album. I don't have a lot of punk anymore, and I need to get it all back, and shame on me for not, but Baraka P-Dub turned me on to this one, and I picked it up last year. This was Amel and the Sniffers out of Australia, if I'm not mistaken. Great stuff, great energy, just a lot of fun. It's a really good album. And number 20 was your favorite 2020 reissue, and I warred with this, and I picked 2. It's my channel, sue me. For me, this was a must-needed reissue. This one's been bootlegged for quite a while, and I'm hoping that since it was done correctly, we will see more follow this mold. So this is a 2 LP set from Alice in Chains' Facelift, their debut. The music breathes very, very well on this. They don't feel compacted at all. You would have put 6 songs on a side if you had a 1 disc on this. Wasn't going to work. Just was not. The music is very rich. I mean, you got strong lows, you've got searing guitars, and Lane Staley's voice has got to cut through it all. So it was a smart decision to put it on 2 discs. It sounds fantastic. It was remastered with care, and I absolutely love it. To me, this is what these 90s issues need, is something like this. But the other one that stood out to me was this one, Sir Lord Baltimore. So this one was done out of a UK label called Trading Places. So Sir Lord Baltimore, if you know your blues rock and acid rock history, was kind of an underground sleeper. There's the custom labels on that. In the 70s, they had this one, which was Kingdom Come, and then they had what was their second one? The second one was just self-titled, wasn't it? I think. I don't remember. But anyway, kind of pricey, hard to find in good condition. You know, they're not like they were printed a lot because they just didn't do well, but they really kick ass. Trading Places is really kind of delving back into these old gems and giving them the reissue treatment that they kind of need. I found this one, I think it was Forced Exposure, and I want to say it was like $20 plus shipping. So half the price. Sounds great. So I have picked up, I think, 4 reissues from the label now. And I'm still looking back at their catalog of what they've offered, and I've got a couple other things I'm looking at. So I was very happy to pick this one up on a gamble. Paid off. Sounds great. For those of you who like that 70s acid rock, want to hear a precursor to metal, this is one you want to check out. So another great 2020 reissue. So that's it, kids. Went longer than I expected, but you know, I always do because I run my damn mouth. That's okay. So I'm hoping to get a proper collection update soon, with a little bit of a life update. Been going through my 45s like there's no tomorrow. So I'm hoping to start maybe showing those off. I ended up buying a big collection, and I finally weeded through that. I say a big collection, it was probably like 200. It wasn't like it was obnoxious large. So I ended up weeding through that, and you know, did what I'm going to do with them, and then just kind of cleaning them up and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that could turn into a 2021 project to show off as some of those 45s that are in my collection. Plus I got stuff I'm trying to go through here. So, and I've been shopping, and it goes on and on, right? The life of a collector, it never ends, and it's always a mess. So, but thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. I'm one of my goals is to try to be a little bit more regular. You know, one a week would be nice, I would say, but to also comment more. I do watch, but I don't always comment. So thank you again. If you haven't done so, jump on in. It's just a great way to kind of reintroduce yourself to the community. Maybe there's new channels that can bring new viewers, or maybe there's new viewers who are going to check out new channels, or maybe you just like seeing me ramble on for 29 minutes. And if you do, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Anyway, thank you all. Be safe. It's crazy out there. Love you all. Peace.